Hi there, I'm Phil from Northern Wild Harvest, and I'm in the middle of nowhere, about 100 kilometers in the Canadian wilderness in northern British Columbia. We're hunting wild morel mushrooms today, and yesterday we got some big ones. Over the last 4 days, it's been raining really hard and the roads turned to mud. Last night, it started to dry out, and today it's bright and sunny. So I'm going back to a patch that I left to grow. Let's do this. The roads are nice and dry again. This is good. Came pretty close to getting stuck the last time. If I had stayed any longer, I think I would have had trouble getting out. Like I said, I left a lot of babies in here. I see lots of boot prints, but I also see some mushrooms. So we'll start with just the bucket, and then if there's a considerable volume, then I'll grab the pack board and come back in with that. I worked this entire patch front to back, got 60 pounds last week, and so I need to go check that further in ground. Mushrooms all through here. A lot of the mushrooms still just aren't big enough. A lot of the ones that were here when I last was here are only a little bit bigger. I know from the last time that if I go further in here, there's a spot that gets a little more sun. Maybe it will have grown a bit faster. Good news is the quality is really good. They're just smaller mushrooms today. Now that's a good site. Morel exuberans. Greens. There you go. One of my favorites. Look at how nice those mushrooms are. So there's a couple more. Another greenie right there. And you'll notice that they're up on the top of this ridge. They often like these little ridge tops. They turn olive colored as they mature. This is super exciting. If this fire goes into greens, oh, there's more. 3 more right there. We got a little patch of greenies starting here. See, that one's a tomentosa. It's got the black stipe. It doesn't have flat ridges. They're more honeycomb, tighter together. They're not vertical ridges like the greenie. The mushrooms and the leaves here are just beautiful. I got just under a basket, ran into another harvester there, and just to show you guys, he just parked their truck up ahead. I was hoping to get a bit more volume out of there, but quality is really good. That makes up for it a bit. There's a lot of mushrooms still in there, so I could definitely go back in again in a few days. Okay, come down the road to the next spot. Oh. I'm seeing some fresh side-by-side tracks since I was here last. A gray. Nice. Yeah, see, somebody else has picked this. There's my old stem. These are fresher stems. Somebody's got some gear stashed there, so no point crowding them. Oh. Gunshot or bear banger. I was lucky enough to be the first person into this whole section of the fire, so I kind of had first pass at all these spots. All right, one more quick spot before we try somewhere new. I did leave some mushrooms in here, but not as many babies. However, a lot of the mushrooms I left were in leaf mulch and needles. Just harvesting away in the thick needles here. And this is the first piece of soft fern that I've seen really producing nicely. And the thing is, look at the quality of the mushrooms. I've been waiting all season for these needle areas to start producing. And this is the first one I've seen that actually has consistent mushrooms that are of a good size. The needles act like a mulch. They regulate humidity and temperature, and they generally keep the mushrooms a lot fresher. They also limit ash splashing onto the mushrooms. And just generally cleaner, nicer mushrooms come out of needle zones. And they're in the soft fern where the trees are green on top. The mushrooms are just so clean. Look how pink that morel is. Okay, this is a new spot. I'm gonna start with just my bucket. If I find mushrooms, I'll come back for the pack. Look at that huge one. Truck is up there. I followed this wet zone. There's a fire break here, and I'm gonna keep following this wet zone down because I'm already at a quarter bucket. Graveyard of Morels. You know, if I had come out here during that rain, I probably would have made it here in time. I didn't, and now they're blown out. I'm just above that fire break right now, hiking along the hill. It's nice and easy, and the fire break was a little bit soft. Drop for a minute here because I see a bunch of jumbos all around me. Quite a few big ones. That's one of the smaller ones. I'm about to climb up this hill. Good hill. Well, we got a few there. If I go that way, I come to the lake with the island. And it's a north slope, so I don't want to do that. To get to the next spot I wanted to check, it's like another kilometer on this road. And I might be better off just looking more around the truck. That had the best mushrooms. The size of some of these. All right, I'm gonna go check down here. Hunting those big jumbo morels right now. hoping to find, you know, like a huge morel today, but I guess I'm always hoping for that. We haven't had a really big one since that huge blondie in 2022. You probably know which one I'm talking about if you saw it. It was a big one. So this is going to be a great example. Here, I'm right along the same swamp edge, but now it's in the needles. And when you get a jumbo morel in the needles, it's so much nicer. These are going to sound nice. See that? That's a moose was probably laying right there. Look at that beauty. Okay, I worked this right to the end till I hit green forest. Got almost a bucket there. Gonna head back to the pack board. I have to say I'm curious about the other side of that little waterway I couldn't get across. It was all the same ground on the other side, possibly more ground over there.
I went and picked some fresh morels, washed them off. So what I'm going to do is I have these boneless chicken thighs. I'm going to fry these morels in garlic and butter. And then I'm going to add the chicken thighs, add some canned tomato, make sure they're cooked. Okay, I've mixed diced canned tomatoes, onion, garlic, cooks down a bit and cooks. Then I'll add a can of coconut milk and we'll have another whole delicious meal.
After seeing those nice sized jumbo morels, I sent up the drone to scout further down the creek that I've just discovered. Not only should I be able to follow this creek while picking mushrooms, but I've also spotted a substantial section of burn just across this large clear cut from a few years ago. Understory burn, soft burn, and hard burn. A green, orange, and black section of older spruce, pine, and aspen. I've been looking for this all season. First, I need to focus on the creek edge, which is easily accessible from the remote road that I'm parked along.
The road was decommissioned right at that river. They took out the bridge. So I don't see a way over there unless I can find a narrow spot in the river. Who, other than a morel picker, would look at that and think, ooh, I want to go walk down there? A gray. There's a way across. It's shallow here, so that's good. Okay, we made it across the stream. So I'm almost out of camera storage space, so I'm going to be very selective about what I film. Try to savor the last 4 minutes I have. Massive clear cut here. Pretty good chance that nobody's been on that other side. So I feel like I gotta go check it. As it turns out, there's morels here. Quite a few of them. Untouched. Just came from over there. Definitely lots of ground. I mean, I went in right there and I never touched any of this. So there's definitely a full day of exploring over there if I wanted. Anyways, I'm heading back to the truck now, and then I'm gonna head back to camp. And look what Randy's making. What do you got in here?
Boneless chicken thighs, home garlic, canned tomatoes, butter, oil, a little bit of purple onion, and coconut milk, and morels.
Before we weigh up today's fresh that I just picked, we are going to weigh up yesterday's dried mushrooms. 4.61. 3.84. Still a good day, even with a worse than a normal ratio for us. Look at those. Our Ivan tea from a couple days ago is now almost dried. This is fermented fireweed tea. Here are the 3 different types of morel we get on wildfires. So you have either Morchella sexullata or Morchella exemia, most likely. Sometimes we'll get some importunas mixed in where there's been lots of soil disturbance in the burn. They're impossible to tell the difference unless you do DNA sequencing. Then you have Morchella tomentosa, the gray, and also turns blonde. And then you have Morchella exuberans, the green. The challenge on this burn is we keep hitting clear cuts. So as soon as the patch starts to get going, it ends before it starts. I'm walking again. Not gonna lie, I'm almost falling asleep right now. I'm exhausted. But it's too early to go to bed, so I gotta keep moving, otherwise I'll fall asleep. And there's some nice mushrooms. These little ones, when they mature small like that, it is slower to harvest them and maybe a little bit less exciting to harvest them, but they're good eating because you don't have to cut them. You just rehydrate them after drying and throw them right in the pan. See this? Lodgepole pine catkins. They're really big on these ones too. Not quite ready. In about a week, if the weather's good, these will be ready for harvest. We harvest them right before they start opening up, and then as they get dried, they will start releasing their pollen and you can catch it. Often you only see them that big, but these ones are super tall. Another thing I'm watching for is these spruce tips. They're almost ready as well. See, this one here is getting close. See? And these are completely edible. They're a little waxy when you eat them raw like that, but amazing dried, used as a herb. So just near our camp here, when we have the extra time, we've got spruce tips we're waiting on, fireweed for Ivan tea, we've been doing lots of that. The pine pollen's almost ready on the lodgepole. And then there's also Solomon's seal in this area, but we don't have a market for that one, so we haven't been harvesting it. But yeah, there's lots of different things. Okay everyone, the day is done. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed today's video, then drop a comment below and like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. And if you want to support us, we have our online shop linked in the description of the video. You can also find it on the homepage of our YouTube, along with all of the different mushroom seasons we've documented in chronological order. Okay, see you next time. Have a good one.